everybody. I'm watching you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Cloak and Stagger Plays D&D. We've been off for a week, but we are back, and it feels so good. It feels like we've missed an entire year.
Feels like it's been a while.
It has.
I hope everyone watched our trailer that we did. It was so good.
Very goofy. Fun. Very fun.
Still got the wine.
We made a thing, and it was we're not sponsored by them. You can't do that.
It's just a reference.
We'll blur it in post.
It's a reference.
So yes, we've been off for a week. So thank you for everybody who's with us tonight. We really appreciate it. And thank you again to everybody who joined us last episode. I do want to take a quick minute and give a special shout out to our new followers from the last session. We've got a little bit of a list to go down here, so be quick. Nikki the Saint, Don P, 3 girls and a DM, Paradoxial 85, The Meme Express Train, Brick Walls Are Yummy, Couch Potato 29, The Gilded Troll, who also stream D&D. They are awesome. They auto-host us. We follow them. They put on a great D&D show as well. So check them out, The Gilded Troll. Talon Almis, We Alva 23, Master Torgo, Witness This, and Crenshaw. Thank you for the follow. We really appreciate the support. And actually, since the last time we streamed, we can now actually have subscribers, which is awesome. If you are an Amazon Prime member or a Twitch Prime member, you can actually subscribe to us for free, and it helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it because that really helps us be able to kind of keep making improvements and, hopefully quality content. I hope it's not shit, but we do our best.
It's pretty good.
If you're joining us for the first time this week, we hope you enjoy. We certainly have a good time playing every week when we don't miss a week. We play every Saturday at 8 p.m. Central, not Pacific, as some people would have you see if you saw the video. Anyways, if you do like what you see, give us a follow, or if you really like it, give us a sub. We really appreciate it. So we will also have all of our D&D videos up on YouTube the following week, so everybody can catch up, because on Twitch they go away after about 10 days, I think it is. So that's done with announcements. Sorry for blabbering. We start off every week with a recap of our previous session. Who wants to give the recap today of what happened last time?
It's the James.
I'll do it. So last week, we all met in one area, and we had an awesome battle on a bridge with some fire newts. It went down. We eventually fought them off. We had previously found a mold through other excursions. We went back to our dwarf friend who taught us how to craft keys with the mold. While we were sleeping, one of the fire newts came and tried to take the dwarf in the night. We sniped him, courtesy of Stagger and my character Lucan. I can't think of Lucan. Yeah, we sniped him from a mile away. He survived. After we did that, we got the keys done. We entered the treasury. We saw all sorts of gold, Brad's favorite. We also saw some adamantium ore. And we also got the gauntlet, which is super important. We have the Thanos gauntlet. We can fight the Avengers now. We laid to rest, lo and behold, our awesome companion throughout most of the campaign, Dragonbait.
F for respects.
That's the F for respects. We caught whiffs of lemons when that happened.
Yes.
It was a very sad moment. After that, we left the area. We went back outside. There were numerous roads that were leaving the area. After speaking with our companion, we figured out that he was an expert as far as getting us back to Port Ninezaro. At least that's how it was expressed. He could be lying. We don't know. We just assume he's truthful. Could take about 1 to 2 weeks, just depending on how quick we travel. And that is where we left off.
That's how the cookie crumbles. Very good. Yeah. You hit the head on the nail. You hit the nail on the head. Inspiration for you for tonight.
Thank you. And I also tried to train kill on the bridge, and it didn't really work.
It worked the second time.
And the second time, it did. We knocked some folks off. That was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was really nice.
Although the one that got away is the one that tried to kidnap Mr. Dwarf.
That's fine. We didn't. We didn't know.
Fine.
We still don't know that in them.
That's true. You don't
That's
know.
fine.
Okay, so we'll hop right into it. So you finished your epic mission through the forge, the dwarven forge of Hrakhamar, and you made your way out with Malkar in tow. His intention is to go back to the port, and if my memory serves, your intention was to go back to the port as well, because it was supposed to take, just a few days actually.
We agreed on that.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that.
Correct.
We did.
Okay.
Want to go shopping
And sell some stuff.
and shopping.
No.
And shopping.
And buy.
Don't forget about shopping. Okay, so when you exit the large broken doors of Hrakhamar, you find yourself looking at the sky for the first time in who knows how many days. Before you is an environment that's very, very much different from where you entered into the mines. The entrance was slightly rocky, mountainous. There were still greenery, trees, shrubbery, that type of thing around. But here, the landscape is harsh. It's stark contrast to the jungles that you've been trekking through for the past well over a month now, and there's barely any greenery to be seen beyond the occasional, like maybe kind of cactus-like plant or something like that. Most of what's in front of you is dirt, rock, sand. It's a very brown and gray palette kind of dominates the environment. You can only see maybe about a mile to a half mile off in the distance, depending on where you stand. There are multiple dunes and hills that rise up 10, 15, 25 feet, some of them that just varies. And complicating things even further, there's a multitude of black basalt rocks that protrude from out of the ground, almost kind of like a spike trap, but just very large. It's very, like I said, very harsh environment. Looking behind you, after you've walked, maybe 50 feet or so out of these doors, you see a couple things. The main thing, the large mountain behind you, the doors to Hrakhamar that are set into that mountainside, and the peak of this mountain is dominated by a large volcano, presumably what was supplying all the lava in the forge. You see slow moving streams of magma kind of rolling off the edge of the mountain, way up at the top. No imminent danger to where you are. It's thousands of feet up in the air. And you see them sliding down slowly and eventually cooling and turning into a brown and then black rock. The mountain range, as you look around, extends almost all the way around you like a U shape, pretty much. So it's behind you, it's to your right, which would be, Sigor, based on the sun, would be the south. So to the south, that mountain range just extends, and to the north as well, leaving east really the only direction that seems like it could be realistically traveled.
Are we being led right now by the dwarf guy?
Not really. He's kind of out front, but he's pretty much just kind of, looking around the same as the rest of you. But yes, he is in front, but you don't really feel like he has a sense of this is the path.
I'm gonna press him on that. I'll just stroll up next to him as he's still looking around. I'm not really looking. I'm just looking around too. I bet you haven't seen this in a while, huh?
He stops for a second and looks around. He says, "Aye, it's been a little while, yeah."
Yeah, but surely, I mean, a path is a path. So you remember the way, right? Of course.
Well, he kind of motions his head to the north, where there's a mountain range. He motions his head to the south, where there's another mountain range. And he actually kind of does a whole 180 and turns around and looks up at the volcano and he says, "I'm pretty sure I know the way. At least, well, yes, it's east."
Right.
Now, if my memory serves, eventually there is a chasm that leads back up into the jungle. My party was not too far from there or here. I took a lot of shots to the head.
I see. All right.
Would this help?
He says, "Aye, a little." And he sort of points out on the map. If you actually hand it to me,
Yep.
I'll mark where it is. So he points to a spot on the map where you are, and it is essentially
Wonder if my guess is right.
right there.
Oh yeah, I was right.
So, yep. So here, I'll get a full screen of you there. They're at the very essentially southwest. Yep. There you go. There it is. Part of the island there. So he points to that area and says, "We're here. It is probably a day's march through this treacherous land to the cavern that leads up to the north. It's essentially a crack in the mountainside. But this area is far from safe. Even though we cleared out the forge, there are definitely still fighter newts around here."
I think at this point we'll probably be okay. All right. Is everyone ready to head to the crack? To the crack.
Yes. Let us go.
He says, "Hi, very
Rock
well."
on.
So you said we'll get there in about a couple of days?
About a day, I think.
No, to Port Nyanzara.
Oh,
Oh.
that's like a week or two, right?
From what I remember, about 10 days.
Okay.
And then he kind of stops and says, maybe less, maybe more.
Do you have an airship?
Ooh,
He says,
Airship.
Or a quick mode of travel?
"No." And he just kind of does a about face and sort of marches on in a very, very proud dwarven style. You go about a mile, and each of those hexes on that map, just as a reminder, is about 10 miles. So you travel about a mile, and need everyone to make a perception check for me.
Nice.
12.
Okay.
13.
Okay.
11.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh yeah, 23.
Okay, so actually all of you notice this. Luke and you notice it first.
Who?
But it's not very hard to miss. But in the distance, you see the forms of 4 short humanoids that seem to be kind of rushing in your direction.
Short humanoids?
Yes.
lady.
Hey, does everybody?
Right,
Also,
those
if
are
anybody
familiar.
hears any random microphone noises, it's our dog. She likes to lay on the microphone stand.
She likes to lay under Jamie and my feet, so.
She's right there. I can kick her.
So pardon us. Continue. Sorry.
But Brad, do you notice those at all? Do those look familiar?
Should we ready a boat?
I'm seeing if maybe he notices maybe they're his type of people.
Friend or
maybe,
foe?
or...
So he's kind of in front of you, so it's kind of hard to say, but he's still kind of marching in that direction, kind of towards them. They're coming essentially. If you're heading east, they're kind of coming from the northeast.
Oh, maybe they're more of his folks. I know you just said that, but
Dwarves? I was asking Brad if maybe they were his people. I'm pretty sure it's... I whisper away from the dwarf dude. I'm pretty sure his friends are all dead, but we'll humor
what
him.
about the albino dwarf?
and Malkar stops and says, "Where? What?" And he looks and he sees these 4 figures, and he squints his eyes for a second, and then they get huge. And he turns to you, and this is the first time you've kind of seen him smile. And he says, "Sithy!" And a few moments later, you see these 4 dwarves run up and embrace Malkar. One of them in the head of this group, or so it looks like, is a female dwarf. And there's
Well, I'll be damned.
in this area, there's definitely not a lot of female dwarves.
I want a message to the gorge. How the hell are they not dead? I was not expecting this.
Well, would you believe it?
So they rush, pretty much ignoring you completely, like all of you, except one of the dwarves is kind of leering at you, like kind of giving you the side eye a bit.
Can I help you?
He just kind of looks at you, and then looks back at Brad, and then looks at you. And then goes back to kind of the pleasantries. They're all kind of running up, hugging Malkar, and you hear them kind of you overhear the female. None of the other ones seem to be speaking really, but the female is talking about how happy she is. She can't believe he's alive, and all of this. And after a few moments of kind of pleasantries between all the dwarves, Malkar essentially explains everything that happened. At least from what he knows, he very briefly kind of mentions, these guys, I think they killed the dragon, but then, talking about getting captured by the fire newts, and also mentions that Hugh Hackingstone is dead and that you all found his body missing an arm, and after everything kind of settles down, the female walks up to you and says,
Hello.
"And which one of you are the leader?"
Well, technically, we don't really.
Who speaks for your group?
Hi, I'm Stagger. Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you.
That'll work.
She says, "Hi. I thank you for saving our friend here. Malkar's a good man. We thought he was dead. My name is Sithy Vinecutter."
Well met, Sithy.
Hello.
Yes.
You're in good spirits and health, it seems, for this awesome place.
It's a hellhole.
Yeah.
It is, well,
I'll drink to that.
it was, but thanks to you. If what Malkar says is true, you have emptied out the forge, the fire newts?
I think we have. Yeah. We
I think
killed
so.
quite a
Yeah,
few.
quite a few.
Incredible. Our friends back in the port, they'll never believe it. We've
Well-
been waiting months to get back into our forge. It was our forge.
It's your forge again. Bar's already created it and everything.
We don't have the deed though.
Yeah, we don't have the deed, so I hope you guys still have it.
Well, we sort of
Right.
do. And I think I have the gauntlet on me, don't we? Or don't I?
It's in the bag.
I was in the bag. Yeah, they're people's gauntlet that we're delivering to the port. It's like a deed. It's like a dwarven deed.
You pull out the gauntlet.
He has it in a bag of holding. I can't access
Okay.
it.
You pull out the gauntlet or no? Okay. All right.
I'm just sitting there.
So she says,
We do have the gauntlet, though.
yes.
I say to them.
Oh,
Wink.
you have the gauntlet.
The Forge Master gauntlet?
Means we're really cool.
Moradin's gauntlet.
Yeah, that sounds correct. Yes.
She kind of leers at you.
Damn it! I walk over to Luke and just hold tight, big man. As I reach in his side bag and just, I think of the gauntlet, right? And I just
You only hit coins.
And
There's only coins in the side ones.
I'll keep digging around until I find it. But once I do,
Be sure to put those back.
I'll pull it out and I'll hold it up and say, "This, I believe."
Her eyes go wide and she says, "So, you found your way into the treasury, huh?"
Aye, with your lost friend's help.
And she looks down at Malkar and, or looks over to Malkar and says, "Well, I suppose I do owe you a reward. We've been trying to take back the forge for months and no success, and here you all come and do it in a day." She says,
Well, we really don't know.
I don't want to blow my
We don't-
horn.
I don't want to pat myself on my back or anything, but
I
yeah.
don't know if it was a day.
Yeah, you should give us more gold.
yeah. She kind of leers over at you, but then she kind of corrects herself, kind of her posture a little bit, kind of more formal, and again sort of takes her measure of all of you. And Malkar says, "And I gave them some ore, and there was some other stuff," and she just kind of puts her hand up, and he immediately just stops.
Oh my.
And she says, "Well, for repayment of services rendered, I will allow you to keep the gauntlet. It is probably the most prized possession of that forge, but it would be lost forever, more than likely, if it weren't for you. I will also allow you to keep whatever other spoils that you found in there. I suppose we could make another gauntlet and more treasure."
Well, for the record, I think we only just took 1 gold bar.
I just want to message you real quick and be like, allow us. Like, you can't even do some fire newts. Allow us. Allow what?
There was plenty of that Ada whatever stuff, and a whole bunch of other gold bars, but we just figured 1 would be enough.
So wait, you're telling us to keep this? I thought there was some master forge smith in Port Ninezaru that you all deemed this to.
Mujarib is, I would call him maybe the unspoken leader of what's left of our albino dwarven friends. And she kind of points to, or kind of motions to her skin, and all of them are very pale.
See?
And matter of fact, you can all make a history check. Brad, you with advantage.
Ooh. Okay.
5.
Okay.
I don't know nothing about
12.
the past.
12? Okay.
9.
15.
Okay. So both of you know that the you've kind of heard, at least when you were in the port, kind of talk about the dwarves and things like that. And the ones here in Schultz were mostly albino because they basically live under the ground. They get basically no sunlight. So even though they've been out in the wilderness for months, they're still very, very pale. And that's kind of where their complexion and where the term albino dwarves comes from. But she says, we, I believe, need to make a new start in Hrakhamar. And with that, I believe a new gauntlet should be forged. Out with the old, in with the new. I would probably not give that to Mosharib. He would probably want it back very badly. He's the sentimental type. Although, Zindar in the port, he's hard to miss. Half dragon fellow. He's the dockmaster. That would probably fetch you a very nice ride off of this cursed island.
That sounds nice, but we can't leave anytime soon, I'm afraid. We have other goals here.
Other goals? Like what?
I've told everybody else. I'll tell you too. Sure, why not? We're here to solve the death curse.
Insert story.
Ah. So, the thing that's killing anyone that's been resurrected.
Yeah, that.
Indeed.
We were hired as individuals, and now we're a party here to solve the mystery and slay the potential lich or whatever is causing issues.
Lich. I've only heard of those in the stories.
But I'm just guessing myself.
That's-
Death curse though sounds pretty undeady, pretty undead magic-y.
Yeah.
It is a strange circumstance indeed. Well, I would offer our help, but there's not much of us left to help, and what's left of us need to go back to Hrakhamar and make sure the Fire Newts don't retake it. That place is close to an impenetrable fortress, if guarded correctly. The only reason the Fire Newts took it is because we had to, well, run from lava.
Fair enough. You have your work cut out for you. We may have messed the tracks up a little bit, I think.
Well, that's somewhere else.
It's sort of.
So, like the other entrance, not this one.
What do you mean you messed up the tracks?
Well, with all due respect, who puts a giant boulder the size of 8 men rolling down a mine track as a trap? What did you expect to happen? You know what I mean?
It worked.
Is that the same?
It's effective. It's very effective.
Is that the same thing as this?
Oh, also the dragon did some damage.
Oh, he did. Yeah, he did.
The Hrakhamar.
Is this There's 2 entrances to that.
The
place.
mine. The Wormheart mine.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Sounds
That's the one.
right. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, the dragon's gone though.
Are you talking about the mine and the forge as 2 separate entities?
How do I really know you killed the dragon?
Oh, I can answer that one easily, as I'll reach in my pack and I'll literally take out some scales. I kept these to try and fashion maybe a cloak or something.
I'll pull out my sword and be like, I found this.
He killed my best friend, so there's that too.
I put the scales back up.
No offense, you guys. No offense.
You can see she's taken aback. She says,
Yeah.
"Well,
He died saving my life though.
I suppose if you say you killed the dragon, you've made your way from the very north side of Chult to the bottom of it. You've got to be at least worth your weight in salt. I suppose this is your little gross guide."
Hold
Hey.
on. Hold on.
But it's actually kind of interesting how he came about, but it's a long story.
It's a long
Just
story.
because
I don't
he
have
doesn't-
time for long stories.
His new name's Brad though.
Brad.
Correct.
Yep.
He chose.
So yeah, the dragon messed up the tracks in the mine, but not the forge. If you're
Yeah.
worried about the forge is like, I don't know, good as it should
Fine. Yeah, we made 2 keys
Right?
out of it.
I mean,
Actually, we didn't
Fine.
break anything in the forge. That's correct.
Fully functional. Fully functional.
And we didn't take any weapons, we swear.
Good effort, Brad.
be. Well, yeah.
Make a deception check.
Not one.
Oh,
I rolled a nat 20 on insight. So she just looks at you and looks you up and down, which doesn't take much for her because you're about on the same height. And you just kind of see her look away and back to Sigor, and she says, "So then, what is your next step then
Well, honestly,
for the death curse?"
Oh, for the death curse. Well, we were sort of in the. We're probably not prepared to deal with such magic, so we were seeking any artifacts or relics that could assist us, and we found a couple of neat things actually, but nothing very combative, nothing powerful yet. I actually wanted to ask you while I have this in my hand.
He seems to have a pretty nice sword.
That's right. You did get a really good sword. A few of them, didn't you? Don't you have?
You have like the dragon killer sword.
Yeah, I have the Dragon Slayer. Yeah.
Good against dragons.
Very.
Undead? Good against undead?
Nope. Well, just dragon.
We're working on that.
Haven't tried it yet.
We'll
I'll
find
let
out.
you know.
If you end up meeting with Zendar, I would probably keep it sheathed.
Oh, alright. I'll just kill him if I have to.
You will not kill him.
We'll see.
Oh, because he's half dragon man. Is he a dragonborn or half dragon man?
Or is he like a dragon
He
man
is.
centaur?
What? she actually you break her for the first time. She kind of like snorts a little bit, and she looks back and says, "No, it's what they call a half dragon."
I think I've heard. I've actually ever met one of them before.
Could you
I believe.
explain half dragon to me? Because
I don't really know how it works.
what does he look like? Does he look like a?
He dresses
Like
very.
a walking lizard.
Dragon man centaur.
You will watch it. And she says he is, as I said, the dockmaster of the Port 9 Zaru. That is no small task to watch over the imports and exports of an entire island that ships very fine textiles and what have you in and out. With that, he is a very, very powerful sorcerer. I've only met a few dragon-born people in my life. But something very different about the half-dragon. Something more. There's more power to it, it seems. I've never seen him fight because no one dares step foot to him. But he is kind of hard as long as you are fair and a truthful person.
Well, we'll keep that in mind if we need to leave at some point, I suppose.
Speaking of Dragonborn, you didn't happen to see one being carried off around here, have you?
No, I can't say
big
that I
quiet
have.
fella.
I can't say that I have.
Okay.
We've mainly kept our position, and she kind of points about a half mile away to a big rock cluster, and basically tells you that they've been not necessarily watching the front doors of Hrakhamar, but just kind of watching the coming and goings of the fire newts.
Quick question, while we got you here. Seem pretty honest, pretty knowledgeable. Is the insect repellent really necessary? This has been killing me.
You don't want to get bit by the bugs out here, lady.
Have you been using it?
Aye.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like a tourist scam, so.
Not many bugs this far south, but if you're in the jungle, I'd put it on.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad I bought it all up.
Well, I'll need to buy some more.
Well, the best way to get, well, now that I think of it, you haven't told me. Where are you going?
Port 9 Zaru.
Back to the port.
Most likely no.
Well, yeah, we thought Malcor was going with us, but
We thought we were going to deliver it to the y'all's old forge master, but now you're saying not to, and we could leave, and we don't want to leave, so it's. I guess we have +1 gauntlet and nowhere to go.
Is there anywhere to
She
buy
says,
here, though?
she says, Malkar is going to come back to Hrakhamar with us. We have enough supplies at our other camp to take into the forge, and we'll take care of him.
Are they armed at all?
as soon as
Yes.
Okay.
as soon as she says that, I want to look at Malkar's like expression. Did it like flinch at all? Was he like, "Oh, am I?" Or he was just like,
make
he's
a
like,
make a
whatever.
perception check.
He's like this back there. 12.
You actually notice just the faintest little smirk come across his face.
I don't do anything. I do not acknowledge.
Is there anywhere around here that people go and shop? Like another, like.
Right. If there was like a
anything?
Port 9 Zaru 2,
Right.
She says, I have lived many years. Not here many years. Not long enough since before the spell plague that ripped this place upside down, since Raz Nisi went on his crusade. There used to be many cities. Many cities. Most of which are ruins now. So, to answer your question, I haven't seen a place to buy and sell anything in a long time since the part. We get regular shipments to our encampments from our dwarven friends. We relieve each other, kind of keep fresh meat going in and out. But it's all coming straight from the part, which is, bless you,
Thank you.
which is about 45 days away from here.
45 days? Thought it was 10.
Malkar, at the same time you say that, Malkar turns around and says, I thought it was 10! And she says, they must have done a number on him.
Oh. So it's 45 days.
There goes my shopping trip.
Well, we'll just have to figure out what we're gonna do, but we don't want to hold you up.
She says, I'll tell you one more thing though, Mr.
Ooh, okay.
Mr. Bow and Arrow Man, Sagor. I will point you in the direction of perhaps some, maybe treasure, maybe supplies. I don't know. We couldn't get very close to it.
The eagle people.
She says,
Will this help?
yeah. So she looks at it, she says, indeed it will. And she sort of points to an area on the map. She says, there is a wrecked airship to the northeast.
An airship?
It's wrecked. I'm sure it probably has plenty of supplies and probably something that is worth some extra gold. And if you did decide to go back to the part, it's on your way back. I'll admit that your group is far more capable than ours. But we weren't able to investigate it because of the wildlife in the area. Have you seen a gorillon?
A what?
Large ape-like creature, 4 arms,
Yeah.
sharp teeth.
They
Yes.
punch real hard.
They are very strong.
Uh-huh.
They were all over the place.
Several.
It wasn't worth it. We had supplies, but airships don't fly around empty.
How high do you think one of those could jump? Just curious.
An airship?
No, the gorilla thing.
What?
Well, you know, I can do this thing, and I
It's all about
levitate.
strategy.
I levitate 20 feet up, and I'm like, so I'm curious, like, could they reach me up here? Because I can just, like, fly on over them.
Well, I'll
And
tell
I'll
you
come back
this. In the jungle, if they can't reach you by jumping, they can certainly climb.
I could just set them all on fire.
We don't want to set the whole island on fire.
I mean, maybe it would just kill everything.
It might be better off that way.
I don't really like
I
that
like the way
idea.
you think.
I like hold myself. That's terrible.
Let me just get a fresh
Hell,
start.
Beth.
Just like, good riddance.
And so she points, and I'll mark it on your map.
Yes.
She points to the area on the map where, roundabout, where the wrecked airship is.
We need the quest arrow. Or the quest axe. We need the quest axe.
Okay.
Well,
So she marks an X about where she thinks the airship is, and then she marks like a little straight line where she believes the, or where the kind of that crevice is that leads back up to kind of the jungle area.
Really?
It's not far.
So go check it out.
And then she
I'm nosy.
she's kind of looking at the map too, and she says, "That's by far the best map I've ever seen of this place. Where did you get it?"
FedEx Kikos.
Our resource that
What does that mean?
that hired us in here to check things out actually supplied them.
We really don't flash them around.
Stagger here is making a map of the entire place.
Charting as much as we can.
Ah. It's not a bad idea. You could probably make quite a bit of coin off of that.
Well, yeah, probably, but
Plenty of treasure hunters come here and die because they have no idea where they're going.
Oh, we got offers like our first day here. They were trying to give us money for it anyways. Or tell us we promised money.
So gold is your ambition then?
Oh yeah.
No,
For sure.
no, it was more of like a culture shock when we got here. Like, oh really? Oh really?
I'm more of
we're
just
new
an
here.
explorer of the unknown. I do it for doing it. It's the
I
best
wanna
way I could put
learn.
it.
I want
Right.
to learn
Ah,
all of the magic.
a scholar.
And she kind of looks at your big fat book on your side.
Oh yeah.
She says,
So are you the one that was able to decipher the dwarven runes and get into our treasure room?
Maybe.
I suppose you've earned it.
and she says,
Well, I suppose we should probably be getting back to Hrakhamar before any newts go back in.
she kind of points off to the northeast and says,
The way back to the jungle is that way. And if you're ever back down in this neck of the woods, and we're not dead, you have friends here.
Good to know.
Thank you.
We'll come visit once we've perhaps solved this island's problems.
Look skyward and we'll drop in.
Lucan has such high hopes.
and she gives a nod and kind of nods at her compatriots who still haven't said a word to any of you. They kind of talk to Malkar, but they just seem to kind of follow her lead pretty much.
When they were talking, were they talking in Dwarvish or common?
About half and half.
Yeah.
About half and half.
I don't pay it any mind.
Yeah, and they start to file actually back towards the rock where they came from. You would assume probably to go get supplies.
So they've walked off now.
They're probably about 20 feet away, but yeah, they're
Well,
turning to walk.
thanks, Malkar, for everything.
And he's just kind of the other dwarves now that they're walking off, they're kind of talking with him and laughing and everything. And he's like in between two of them, and he gives two of them a pat on the back and kind of turns around and looks at you all and kind of takes a moment and looks at each of you and just kind of gives a little nod and a little salute and turns around and kind of trots off and catches back up with his
Like, bye.
friends.
And Dwarvish, bye.
And they just
Oh, yeah.
walk off into the distance.
Well, guys, I know I don't get excited that much, but doesn't an airship sound great? Just think of how quick we could get around.
Just out of curiosity, you heard the part where it's crashed, correct?
Sure, but crashed and inoperable are two different words.
I guess we'll see when we get there, but now we have a different problem. We were going to go back to the port under the assumption that it'd take maybe a little over a week. Alas, it'll take over a month to return. And
What
also,
if-
they don't want this anymore, apparently. So, I'm holding the gauntlet.
Well, that's our trip out of here. Off the Chult.
I imagine
Assuming we don't fly off of here.
if we actually solve this death curse somehow, whatever we acquire from that should be worth 1,000,000 rides off. So I'm not worried about that at all. But
Are you gonna chuck it?
no,
we can
it's-
still hang on to it. Don't just throw it in the woods.
I'll put it in my pack. I'm sure we could haggle, or maybe I can trick someone into thinking it's magical later for some reason. I don't know. But either way,
You wanna put it back in here? You got it? You got it.
I got it. Don't worry about
You
it.
got it. Yeah. I'm gonna erase it off my mental list.
Oh yeah, I better make sure I know I have it too.
Wink. Well, just imagine how quick we could get back to the port in an airship. You just set it to like, I'm sure it's just as easy as like doing this thing, and then you're just like, all right, well there's the port, so let's sleep while we're flying, and it's like whatever. You're there in like 10 minutes.
Well, based off previous knowledge that we've acquired, if we continue heading northeast even after this crashed airship, that's my guess as to where Omu lies. Meaning, I guess if we have no reason to return, should we just continue the trek after the ship?
I think yes.
Wait, what? Say it again. So you want to go to? So what? Say it again.
Well, if we continue heading northeast, which is where we need to go to reach this airship,
Sure, yes.
I am guessing, based on an educated guess, that Omu will be about maybe a week away from there. Do we want to just continue there now?
To the airship, yes.
After the airship?
No. Yes.
I look at my jug and just
We should-
has he been drinking out of my jug?
We should be doing that.
Brad, you've put your life on the line enough. Why don't you give your opinion? It's value.
I'm just along for the ride. You guys have gotten me more gold than I've seen in years.
I know the answer to this. Do you care about the death curse?
The what?
So,
Would you be sad if you had a friend that died around you?
I mean, did he have cool stuff?
No.
Right. All right. So I think we should just head to the airship, and perhaps we'll figure it out from there, depending on what we discover.
So what's an airship?
It's you know what a normal ship is, or a tiny boat.
I know what a boat, a raft.
Yes. Think of a raft big enough to hold maybe 100 people, except it goes through the sky.
Huh?
it flies. Don't you see why I'm so excited about
Okay,
it?
stop.
It's a flying.
Brad's getting head hurt. Brad's head hurt.
It's a boat that flies, and we could fly above the jungle to and from.
We camped last time, so we're out in like kind of the morning or afternoon now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I'll put my map up and I'll give the motion. Are y'all ready?
Yep.
Sure.
We ride.
And while we're traveling, I'm gonna keep an eye out for some foods.
Cool. What kind of food? Anything in particular, or?
Yes, I don't want to hunt. I'm just looking for any type of fruits or something along those lines.
Okay. You travel for roughly 6 hours. You don't see a single fruit growing on any bush.
That's right, we're in a dead-like area.
It's just nothing. You've seen the occasional small lizard kind of dart across the sand and the dirt under rocks. You've seen snakes. No flying snakes, just regular snakes.
After you said we would travel for like 6 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. After seeing all this for this long and not seeing a single bush or anything, I guess I'll just keep an eye out for like some snakes and shit. I could just,
Okay. So
meat sticks.
some meat sticks. So it doesn't take you long, but you actually do. There's plenty of snakes out in these here hills. So kind of you come up across a kind of a rock formation, which snakes kind of like that type of stuff. And going up, you can see at least one or two snakes kind of coiled up underneath this rock formation.
As we're going, I'm just gonna pop an arrow on each one I can.
Okay, make an attack roll.
I will use my arrows for
So
this.
the rest of you all of a sudden see Segor kind of stop, notch an arrow, and
I'm gonna throw a guidance at you. Just do.
13 on first boy.
You can add
That
a
hits.
D4. Oh,
you
never mind.
pierce a snake right into the dirt.
Do I see any others?
You see one kind of starting to slither
I'm gonna
off.
firebolt at it.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Natural 20.
Okay, you have a very perfectly cooked, like pre-roasted snake.
Oh, that's way more efficient.
It's like it like straightens out perfectly, and it's just nice. It's got a nice crisp outer layer.
Exactly what I was wanting.
Yeah,
How many rations is Sneck worth?
snack would probably be worth about 2 rations.
Okay. I'll get my arrow and I'll clean it as we keep going.
Okay.
I just wanna. Hey, do you want one of my pre-cooked ones that I just made here? And we can just share yours later, maybe.
Luna, could you do that again? That was very
When we eat
impressive.
tonight, sure.
Okay.
We might have another one we can cook too. We'll just have snake for dinner.
I'm like, tonight, I want this when it's fresh. I'm gonna. Hey, can you cut this in half? I'm kind of hungry now.
I guess it is ready now. I'll take myself a dagger and I'll just give it
Yep. Yep.
Here you
And
go. I give him half of my snake ration, or one of the 2 rations
Yep.
that it made, and
Are you watching this?
I'm drooling.
Bread.
Wow.
There's no like roots and stuff around. It's just rocks
Eating
and
my-
sand.
Yeah, it's just rocks
my
and
perfect
and just
snake
I'm gonna-
ration.
terrible.
I have
Are there any cacti?
some of the.
There's kind of, it's not exactly cactus plants, but
Something.
kind of prickly plants that can survive out, but not your typical Breaking Bad style cactus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not your Final Fantasy guy.
Yeah.
I
was gonna cut an arm off and see if I can get some water out of
Yeah.
it. But
I'm gonna put some of the fire newt blood on my snake.
Okay.
Like hot sauce.
hot sauce.
Okay.
Spicy.
Yeah, and it is spicy. Yeah, it is spicy.
Brad, can I try that?
Of course, I give her my other one of 2 hot sauces that I have.
No, I just want to dab. Just want to dab.
Oh, just a little bit?
Yeah, just a little
All right,
bit.
there you go.
Okay, thank you.
That
You're
might
welcome.
actually be good.
It tastes awful.
Oh.
I uncorked my jug with the wine. No. I'm going ale. I need to wash this away.
I have one good berry,
Okay.
and I think I remember what it is when I look at it.
Yep.
I'm just gonna eat it.
Okay. And after about 60 seconds after eating it, you feel actually pretty pleasantly full. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Now,
So-
if we're multi-day traveling, I'm gonna do the hunt thing every day for I guess 1 snake,
Okay.
just a
Yeah.
snake a day.
Same.
So you come to the end of the first day, and the sun is setting. What would you like to do? Like when the sun, basically making camp.
Let's get a nice area this time. Just looking around, is there I don't know, a giant rock little cove we can get in, or maybe a little something that goes up a bit and it's like a little plateau poking out the ground, or
Nothing.
high
The Pride Rock is not around here.
no Pride Rock?
No.
What about just a high ground relative?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some dunes that kind of raise up, and then there is. You do see one that does have a couple of smaller kind of boulders, but it's not anything substantial. But it is higher ground with a small, probably area maybe about as big as, if you were to take these 2 tables and put them side by side, about like that.
I'll just get the tent out and start prepping for the evening.
Okay.
We can all do 2-hour watches won't be enough. Well,
Oh,
everyone gets a
man.
2-hour watch. Be 8 hours, and then whoever wakes up first can. This is difficult.
I thought of a name for our group.
Uh
Mm-hmm.
I think we should be called the Dragon 5.
But there's
But there's 4
4 of us.
There was 5.
There was 7 at one point, I
There
think.
was 7. There was 6.
That-
We'll say the Dragon
That
6.
may depress everyone we encounter.
To fight in there.
Oh, so we're the Dragon 5. Clearly they're gonna go, but there's 4, and then we're gonna go, yes, there were, and it's gonna be sad.
Well, it's something I thought to carry on the memory of those. Or the Dragon 6.
That's even more sad.
It's just it's just a suggestion. We didn't have to do it.
Let's table this.
We're the Fantastic Four. to make it,
I feel like we might get copyright
to make it happier. We're the Fantastic Four. I'm kind of the big one, and you're kind of like the leader guy, the talker, and then we have the fiery personality guy, and then we have the lady. But you're really fiery too, so you're the fiery person. And then you kind of stretch around because you're so pew, 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 pew. You're so quick.
I'll have to think on a name. I'll have to think hard on
Fantastic
that.
Four. That's
Out of
the big
character,
one.
what are we 6 months into this campaign, and
We don't have a name.
Yeah, no name.
Fantastic Four.
That's not accurate. That's a discussion.
We're not fantastic, and there's 4 of us. Anyways, well,
Thanks everyone for joining us tonight.
Well, I'm gonna get my bed out and sleep and think on better names.
Are we doing watches? No.
I would. We'll waste too much time if we do watches. No, I'd say let's just wing it. If something comes up, hopefully we'll have the wherewithal to jump out of bed and punch or whatever we have to do.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm already asleep.
I'm laying down looking at my
I go
phone,
into
trying
the
to find
tent
names.
also, and I'm just like,
Oh, that's a
Juniper,
good-
If someone comes, please wake me up. Don't let me die. I love you, Juniper. Okay, good night. Keep mommy safe.
Oh, that's a good name. I like that. I'm like, in bed. Like,
What strange device is
that's
that?
my men. I'm going through that.
Okay, so you all fall asleep and nothing wakes you up in the middle of the night. So you do benefit from a long rest. If you're missing any health, if you're missing any spell slots, you do get those back. I don't know if any of you are. Maybe.
I was missing
Maybe not.
sorcerer points.
Okay.
I think I'm alright.
Yeah. So you get,
Yeah, I'm full.
you get all those goodies back. Daylight comes. You're all waking up. What are you doing first thing in the morning?
I'm gonna eat a ration
I'm not hungry, I don't think, when I wake
No.
up.
and pack up.
I'm gonna
Okay.
eat a ration as well. I'm gonna
Sigur,
put on some bug repellent.
since you're the first one kind of packing up, make a perception check for me.
21.
Oh, very good.
Wow.
You do notice that there are tracks in the sand around your encampment. None of them seem to come into the encampment, but they are smaller tracks with kind of 3 toes and kind of almost like a webbed
Froggy
webbed
friends?
foot.
Or is it those friends?
But nothing. There's obviously multiple tracks, but you weren't disturbed by anything, and nothing seems to be missing. But they're very visible.
I'll just before even like fully examining, I'll just out loud say, "Uh-oh,"
What's up, Sigur?
and then I'll kneel down and I'll take a closer look at the tracks.
What's up?
Yeah, and I
Make an investigation check
Is it a
with
grung?
with advantage. A grung?
Well, the second one was the nat one, but the first one was pretty tight. It's 18.
They are definitely fire newt tracks.
Huh.
We were stalked last night and not
Disturbed?
screwed with. Fire new tracks, right here
Well,
and there, all around my tent. What the hell?
they probably knew who we were.
We have a
I'll
reputation.
check my bag like immediately. And
Yeah.
start going through stuff.
Nothing missing.
Is anyone missing anything?
Juniper!
Yeah, your mouse is fine.
I'll feel my body, see if there's some abnormal bump or something up here. Just trying to discern what the hell happened.
Nothing.
Huh.
You do notice one thing though. There's a small, kind of scorched, kind of burn mark in one of the sides of your tent. Just a little, like,
So they can see through it?
yeah, probably.
Huh.
Why didn't they strike, though? They had to be afraid. No, how would they know us? These creatures were scouting us and deemed us too much of a threat or not worth their time. Which
Maybe-
either way is fine by me. Leave us alone.
We're the fire newt fighters.
Luke and I give you permission to introduce us as what you see fit. I will go by whatever you tell anyone with
You hear
a
it.
hearty smile.
You hear a voice, it just in the back of your mind. That's a bad idea.
To me or
No, just it's
Let's look at Luna for a second.
What?
I thought you said something to me using your thing.
Huh? No. You don't know the sound of my voice?
No, I do. It was just very faint. It's just very odd. But
Now I do. Does it sound like me?
It's not unimportant. It's not important. It's not important.
I can do that sound. Woo!
No.
Regardless, the sooner we get out of here, the better. Now that we're being potentially stalked as I pack up and finish packing up.
Okay. So the rest of you finish packing up. What did you even have to pack up?
Oh,
Brad?
nothing.
Yeah. You just kind of laid on the ground.
Someone probably just bumped me. I woke up. Like, all right, where are we going now?
So you're continuing off in your same direction.
Yes, but I'm going to. Actually, who's traveling in the back?
I don't know.
I'm always
Y'all
right
tell
there
me.
with you, so.
Yeah,
tell me.
I'm kind of in the back, just thinking about names.
Lucan, every now and then, can you kind of
What's
do a turnaround and give a quick check to our 6? Just in case. I want to make sure we're not being followed.
Sure. I can do that.
All right. And I guess we're ready to roll out.
What's your passive perception?
My passive, I want to say it's like 15.
Okay.
Yeah, 15.
Okay. So continuing on,
Mm.
the march continues. So you continue through this desert wasteland / rocky, terrible area for another day and a half.
Oh, is that +1 snake?
That was +2 snake.
Oh, +2 snake?
What about for me also? I'm firebolting them.
So roll a d20 for me. He's kind of already mastered nature huntsman guy, so
What's my plus?
I just needed you to roll a d20.
9.
You get 1 snack.
Okay.
There you go.
It's nice
Anybody
to
else
put
want
that
snacks
on.
or anything else?
If a lizard comes within grabbing distance, I'll try to grab it and just eat it real quick.
Eat
Make-
these rations.
Roll a d20 and add your dexterity modifier.
9.
So you find an already dead
Okay.
lizard, but you kind of, it's big enough to where it's like a big, like king size Snickers bar size almost, where you can just kind of carry it and munch on it if you want.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds like fun.
Okay.
You want some?
What?
No, you're good.
What about the allies of the albino dwarves?
So he's still on this?
That's terrible.
Too long, Lucan. Too long.
It's a
Shorter and to the point with a little more oomph at the beginning.
How about the dragon albino dwarves?
Just keep at it, buddy. You got it. I believe in you.
How about the army of dragon albino dwarves?
How about Cloak and Stagger?
Cloak, what's the stagger part for?
I mean, I don't want to say I'm always drinking, but I mean, no, okay.
What about the maelstrom of obsidian raven destruction?
I actually don't mind.
I was just trying to think of random words.
Perhaps we shouldn't introduce ourselves as alcoholics, but
Oh, we could say it's like, what if we do like, we're moored, like MORD, the maelstrom of obsidian raven destruction.
I ignore him and keep walking.
I'll look behind us and start to walk.
When you look behind, you see a fire newt head peek back behind a rock.
I'll keep walking for just a little bit. For just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna count to 10
Okay.
as we walk.
Okay. You keep walking, and yeah, you make it to 10.
There's don't look. There's a newt behind us.
I'm gonna whip around.
He was about X amount feet back from what I can see.
So when you whip back around, you've kind of passed through this sort of elevated area with some rocky, kind of plateau-y areas. It's still not maybe 10, 15 feet, variation in the land. You see 2 fire newts, actually just pretty much standing in the wide open, and one of them, and a third one, is standing kind of behind, well, not standing behind them, is riding one of those kind of red-beaked creatures that was in the forge, and he's kind of decked out actually in armor. He actually looks a little like this.
Whoa.
And he's
official.
he's just kind of standing between the two fire newts that are looking at you, and they're not doing anything. They're just looking at you.
How far away do
I guess I'll turn and look since there's been a bit now.
Yeah, they're probably about 60 feet away. They're certainly at a distance.
But they're just looking at us?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll hastily say, everyone be cool for just a moment. Just be cool.
Brad, that
Okay.
means you.
I mean, that thing.
Tell
looks
them we're moored.
like we could move a little quicker.
I want to shout, do you understand common?
They don't make any kind of response, or they're just staring at you.
Does anyone speak lizard people or something?
I'll say it in Dwarven.
Same reaction. They're
I'll
just
say it in
staring
Elvish.
They're just staring at you.
I'll say it in Giant.
Still just staring at you.
Well, that's 4.
I'll yell at Goblin.
They
Well, that's 5.
Can I say it in primordial?
You can.
Hell yeah!
They're all just still looking at you.
All right, Luna, your turn.
No, I'm
I
going to
try
say...
and message them. Do you understand the words?
You see the two. So the one mounted one is still just staring at all of you, but you see the two smaller ones kind of.
So I'll start pantomiming then. I'm going to point at the one on the mount, and I'm going to do like this, like I'm walking, and then I'm going to go like this, and then like this.
What are you trying to convey?
You follow us. Why?
Performance check.
Yeah, dude, mate. That's good. Yeah, make a performance check for me.
Do it. Nat 20.
That one.
I need everybody to. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
So still, you see that kind of bird-like creature, the mount that he's on, kind of readjust itself a little bit, and you see him kind of look down at the two fire newts next to him. One of them's kind of got a sword sheathed. The other one has like a little staff on its back, and they kind of just eyeball you, and you see the one on the mount just kind of turn, and you see the bird-like creature just kind of hop off the little ledge it's on and kind of walk back southwest, the opposite direction where you're walking. And then shortly after, you see the two that were with him follow suit.
I think our albino friends are about to die.
No, I don't think so. I think they know we're a threat and they didn't want to engage in combat, but they really wanted to engage in combat, but they knew it would probably end in their demise, and they left. That's my take. I also don't think he understood a damn thing I pantomimed.
I thought you were trying to get a spider off of you.
Sometimes I'm just not bringing my performances.
Interesting.
Well, I see no reason to pursue them, and we could to be safe than sorry, but shall we just proceed?
I don't know. I kind of thinking on what Brad was saying.
Is Southwest the way we came from?
Yes. Well, not exactly. You've kind of taken more of an easterly direction than northeast, so it's not necessarily a polar opposite. They're not taking the same path back that you have taken to get where you are.
I'm really not too concerned with it, if I'm honest.
Well, Sigor, since you said they're taking a different path, I mean, I just, that's okay.
I guess let's carry on.
Okay, so
Keep looking behind you here and there. If they show themselves again, next time we pound our chests.
Total annihilation.
What do you think pounding our chest is going to do?
Intimidate them.
We'll kill them all.
And if they still don't leave, if they
Well,
just
those are
give
two
us...
different answers.
Well, that's the next step. That first you scare, then you kill. Scare, then kill. No kill, then scare. It doesn't work.
Okay, so Boris the boss.
Well, I'm not the boss. No, I'm not the boss.
The lady dwarf. You're the leader now.
Yeah, lead the way, leader.
So that means that
Show us where we're going.
that's what you say. Then that's what goes. I understand that. It's fine.
If you're not the leader, then why are you in front?
Follow the leader.
I will fulfill that role. As
You hear a voice in the back of your head. The goblin has a point.
Follow the leader, Sigor. You never heard that as a kid.
I'll start marching.
You're the leader. We follow.
Then follow you
Say
shall.
no to kill, then fine.
Hey, what about the Pirates of Chol?
Again, it's a little threatening. It comes off if we introduce ourselves to a
But, like,
noble or...
I think it's all presentation, I say from the back. What if it's like, hey, we're the Pirates of Chol? Instead of like, arr, and I do like a bad pirate impression.
We could, a little safer. We could be the defenders of Schultz, perhaps, or the liberators of Schultz. That's more safe than the thieves of Schultz.
We'll see, we're gonna be pirates when we get the airship, right?
Luke and I do not want to burst your bubble.
We could be a goblin and his 3 slaves.
I don't think people get irony that well.
We need a name that will not get us into a fight. Is a good start. That'd be square one. Everybody.
The Beatles.
Why would you be named after a boat?
It just seems fitting.
What about the allies of the bird people?
Perhaps racist just to call them bird people and having a name. This is not working. Luna, help me. Think of something.
I'll think of a name.
All right.
That's what I'm now dedicating my time. I'm just on autopilot.
Okay.
I'm gonna figure out a name.
So
I'll look
Sigor,
back every now and then.
Well, yeah. So, and I'll let you know. So as that conversation kind of took place, you almost kind of had a little bit of, like a snapshot, montage, memory flash of, all the time spent working at your shop, underneath that old lady, like bossing you around and everything.
Burning Hand.
I don't like what's happening over there.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to eavesdrop.
No.
Yeah. I am too.
How about Savage Hand?
I thought you said we're trying to be like nice and stuff.
Air horns sound off in the distance.
Yeah.
or what I initially thought was the Burning Hand. No, fine. I'm still thinking.
Keep at it, Luna. I believe in you.
Oh, I think I've got one. How about the noobs?
There we go.
No, wait. Well, it's not funny. It's the Knights of our Blessed Saviors. We're the noobs. But we could just present ourselves. You wanted it short and sweet, right? That's what you said, Sigor.
It's
noobs.
a rare word that no one will understand, so I'd say that's the best one you've come up with yet. We can be the noobs.
No, we haven't committed to that. We have not committed to that.
The noobs kind of sound cool.
We can have a small council about it during one of the breaks. During a long rest.
Well, you can come up with better. I know it.
Okay, so you continue on. Another day passes. Luna, Sigor, both roll a d20 for me. Brad, roll a d20 for me.
9.
Lucan, you notice 0 more fire newts.
4.
4. You find another dead lizard.
Yes.
13.
You find actually 2. So you find 1 lizard that you kind of cook, and a snake that you cook. What'd you roll?
9.
A 9. You
snake
find
rashes.
another snake.
I eat the lizard immediately.
Loading up on snake meat.
If somebody ever like robs y'all and pickpockets y'all, they're just gonna find bags full of dead snakes and lizards.
The important stuff.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Make some boots or something.
The knights who say me. After these couple days have gone by,
In the distance, to the northwest, you see an area where the mountain range, and over the past couple days, it's gotten lower and lower and lower on this north side of the range, and you finally have come to a spot where it looks like, and it's hard to see. You can't see the full thing because of the kind of the dunes and the difference in land. There's still more rocks in the way, but it looks almost as if there's a split in the mountainside.
A split in the mountainside?
Yeah.
Kind of like a chasm we'd be going into?
And it seems to line up with about where they marked on Lucan's map.
How far away does it look? Does it look like we can get there less than an hour?
Probably about an hour.
About an hour?
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's about noon.
I'll just keep proceeding to it, but let me know when we've traveled 45 minutes and we're 15 minutes out from it.
Okay. Does
The
anybody want to do?
Sylvanian 7!
What's Sylvanian?
What?
Syndra Sylvain is who got us together. Sylvanian. There are only 4 of us now, but there were 7.
Who was the 7th?
Well, there was Dragonbait,
Right.
there was Thomas, and
Thomas?
there was... You don't remember Thomas?
I remember Thomas, and I haven't even been around this long. She gave me lollipops.
Oh, yeah, never mind. I thought you were talking about the guy who was, like, helping us out at first. I was
that
like,
was
why are you including
different
that guy?
Are you talking about Artis?
Yeah, artist. I was like,
And
was
there
he
was
part of the 7?
Trone.
The one with the ring.
The Sylvanian 7.
And then what about Dragonbait?
Yeah, I named him first.
You know what? That's actually pretty good. And we can even
So-
shorten it if we want to be quick. We can just call us the 7.
So you said
We're the 7.
Dragonbait, Patron, and Thomas.
Yeah,
Sylvanian 7.
the Sylvanian 7.
That way we can remember the names too.
or
Or just the 7.
or S:7.
Just an idea. Sorry. It came to me.
That's good, Lona. I think we might stick with that one.
And with that, you remember, Sagor, that Syndra Sylvain, the one who set you on this mission, was withering away from the death curse, and that's why she sent you on this mission. It's been about a month
she's
and a
dead
half.
now. She's gone. R.I.P.
Well,
It's been at the back of your head, so not really at the forefront, but when she mentions that, it's like,
Oh no, I've known
yeah.
she's been dead. She's gone.
hopefully we'll solve this problem sooner or later.
Probably later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she didn't give us an airship to start with. I mean, you know. That was awfully rude of me. Never mind. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. All this airship talk has just got me overhyped.
Okay, so is anybody doing anything on this kind of 45-minute trek towards the crevice?
So, are we like back in the jungle now, or we're still
No,
in this?
you're
I
still in
cast
this desert,
mage
yeah.
armor on myself.
Yeah, but one thing you do notice is that at the top, and this is probably 70 feet, you know, that this crevice raises up. You think, at least from the distance, standing on top of one of the dunes that you're on now, that you can see maybe a little bit of maybe the beginning of a tree canopy.
And this is about where that's marked on the map, you said?
Roughly.
Alright, well. Okay. Alright, I'll just keep proceeding until that mark.
Okay. So you come to this crevice, and it is made entirely of this black basalt rock.
But we're in the
that's-
crevice?
Or you're at the crevice. You're approaching it.
Oh,
I
approaching
assume,
it. Okay,
yeah.
approaching it, yeah.
And there's so many of these rocks jutting out. I mean, they're sharp. It's like almost if you took a wrong step, you could cut yourself on one. Just about. Almost looks like
I hate it.
like dragon glass. You know, kind of jutting out everywhere. Some larger spires kind of poking out. Some smaller ones. There are definitely footprints in the ground similar to the ones that were around your campsite, but nothing, no. I mean, even without a perception check, no fire newts in sight.
Okay. I'll check my map again. Does it look like we're still a little ways out from the airship marked spot, or does this look right about where it is?
It's probably about so each hex is essentially a day at a normal pace.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you're at the little equal sign, and the
Shit, we're still 2 days out.
yeah, so you're probably a couple days out,
Okay.
roughly.
Well, in that case, I'm not going to do what I said I was going to do, and I'm just going to approach this scary dagger chasm and just cautiously start
Okay.
moving through it.
Anybody else doing anything?
I'm following.
Okay.
Following the leader.
So you make your way into the chasm, and once you do, you start noticing that the elevation starts rising. It's not a straight chasm; it's very windy, and you do find your way up. Probably about 15 minutes in, you're going through. You notice kind of a natural bridge that kind of spans the chasm above you, but your path just kind of keeps leading to the north, and then the northeast, and then the west, and northwest, and north. Kind of winds up, but mostly you're heading pretty much northeast until after about 30 minutes of traveling through this chasm, you make it to the top, and probably about, I don't know, let's call it a half mile in the distance, you start to see trees again.
Well, there's the jungle again. I almost would rather be in this bleak land than the jungle again, but
Right, true.
I guess that's where we're heading then, huh?
Fortune awaits, right?
Does it go downhill from here towards the jungle?
It's pretty much
Straight shot?
level at this point, yeah.
Okay.
And looking back behind you, you can see actually looking back where you came from, right? You look back and see this vast valley of sand and black rock with the mountain range down to the south. You still can see, even though you're days away, you can still see kind of through the atmosphere, the peak of the volcano of Hrakhamar off in the distance. And there is something kind of terribly beautiful about it, in a sense. But, metaphorically and physically, it's kind of behind you at this point.
I'll, as I'm walking towards the jungle then, I'm going to go ahead and put on some repellent.
Yeah, seeing
see
that,
this,
yeah,
and I'm like-
that's a good idea.
Oh, I already did that this morning. Just
You did?
kidding. JK.
Use about half a bottle before you realize you remembered.
I hope this airship's works. We're getting low on this stuff.
Oh, poor Loka. I'm telling you, my friend, it's unlikely they will be going through the air anytime soon. But if we do, I'll eat my words.
How are you gonna eat your words?
It's a.
I've got a tentacle tongue.
I want
That's
to.
actually a pretty good joke.
I continue entering the jungle.
That was pretty good.
Okay. You find yourself back in familiar territory after about another hour or so. The dry, kind of arid heat has once again turned into this wet, mucky, humid Memphis times 3 heat.
Terrible.
You're stifling this this armor that you're now wearing, that you found essentially that Patron had been wearing. It's almost like you're like cooking a little bit inside of it. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world, and again, you wearing kind of the heavier armor, definitely kind of cooking inside of that shell. Both of you still extremely hot, but at least you can kind of loosen your drawstrings a little bit and at least get some air circulation through there. Looking around, the tree canopy gets higher and higher and higher the further you go into the jungle. And another day passes, and now night is beginning to fall. The first night, actually, back in the jungle. What would you all like to do?
I just set up camp again.
While he's setting up camp, I kind of want to look around the perimeter of the area, start looking, see if I can find any like roots or nuts or something like that of potential value.
Okay. Make a nature check for me.
Sure. It's gonna be a 10.
10? Okay. So you don't see any of kind of like these specialized things that you found in the past.
Right.
But you do find some nuts and berries and mushrooms and things like that that you believe would be safe to, or that you can tell actually is not harmful to eat.
Right.
You probably find about maybe 2 days rations worth in just kind of the surrounding area around your camp.
I'm gonna try to find a low limb
Okay.
to crawl up on and sleep.
Yeah. There aren't many low limbs, but you can kind of climb up. And after a couple of failed attempts, you do actually manage to make it up to a little branch. And what are you kind of like Garfielding on
Yeah,
it?
just kind of like almost like I'm hugging it, just limbs hanging off.
Yeah.
What's a point of exhaustion do to you?
It gives you disadvantage on, I believe, ability checks and attack rolls.
Okay. Halfway to setting out my tent, I'll let out a heavy sigh and I'll start putting it back up.
So
What are you doing?
I don't think it wise for everyone to sleep in the middle of the jungle, so I will
We
keep
can
an
all
eye out.
sleep. We can all. I was doing the math. We can all do a watch of 3 hours. It'll be 9 hours of sleep, so we get to sleep in a little bit. But 3 hour. We do watches in 3 hour segments.
I'm not sure all of us could do that based on past experiences.
That equals 3, 6. That equals 12 hours.
Assuming we have 4 people doing it, yes. You're correct.
Total.
So-
Right. So yeah, 9. You're right. I mean, I wasn't trying to say you're wrong.
Mm.
I was
We
just
only have
thinking
3.
of it this way instead of this way.
Somebody has shook their duties before.
I'm asleep in the tree.
Looking up at us.
You hear a snore. You hear a snoring sound off in the distance. Yeah, there he is.
Would alright, let me ask this. If I did like a 4-hour short rest, would I not gain health and spells but not get exhaustion, or would I still get exhaustion?
If you take even a short rest, you can avoid exhaustion.
Okay. Luna, you're fully loaded, right? Do you just want to watch for 4 hours and just take a power nap?
Okay.
Alright. In that case, I'll take the first 4.
Yeah.
You guys can rest.
And just for future reference, that would work to avoid exhaustion, but it wouldn't give you the benefits of a long rest if you were missing stuff. But yeah, you could circumvent exhaustion that way.
Okay. I'm down with that.
Well, we'll rotate into this eventually. Or the next night.
I'll take a long drink and prepare myself for the evening.
Okay. And with that, let's take a little break. It's about 9:45 right now. We'll come back right at 10 and continue right where we left off. So everybody that's stuck with us so far, thank you. If you hang out for about 15 minutes, we will be right back. We're going to get some refills, do the whole break thing, but we will be right back. So we'll see you here in just a little bit. Okay, we are back. Sorry we are 5 minutes late. We needed 5 extra minutes to get our shit together. I can curse because we're past the 60... is it 60 seconds on YouTube? The first 60 seconds on YouTube, you can't cuss or else you get
Is
demonetized.
that real?
That is real.
I heard about that. I thought someone was just making some shit up.
Nope, that's real. Don't cuss or you get demonetized in the first 60 seconds.
Wow.
But after that, fair game.
Shit.
Yeah. We're well past that.
Somebody's gonna have to watch this and bleep out bad words.
We're 2 hours in, so we're fine.
Lady, it's
Fireworks.
okay.
We still
Oh,
got
sorry, lady.
y'all.
Y'all, the 4th of July is over.
Yes. Yes.
It's over. Okay.
Quit trying to scare my dog.
I know you probably have leftover fireworks, but there's next 4th of July. All right, it's July 6th. All right, 48 hours past it. Cut it out.
Y'all are
all right?
harassing my dog.
The dog is scared,
Aww.
and if I didn't have all the cameras like perfectly placed, I would show the dog. Maybe I'll post something to the Facebook later. Somebody, Kira, you can take a picture of it.
She looks worried.
She's really heckin' worried.
Oh.
She hates it.
She does hate it. So we appreciate you all bearing with us during the break. We desperately needed it, but we feel better now, and all is good. So we're gonna continue. Did you get a good picture? Oh my gosh, we'll post that to the Facebook later.
You can see it. You
Yeah.
can totally see it.
If you're not already following us on Facebook, and you have a Facebook and you still use it, because I mean maybe you quit because your parents started using it, because that's kind of what happens. But we do have a Facebook, facebook.com/Cloak and Stagger Live.
Do we have a MySpace?
Shit.
What about a
no,
link?
so
what about a
we-
LinkedIn?
We do have a Facebook, Facebook, and we post updates on there and other little fun tidbits. So if you're into that kind of thing, follow us on there too. So let's jump back into it then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So help me another firework.
It's like they're taunting me. It's like they're taunting me.
They're watching. They're watching,
They
waiting
are.
for it.
So, you have successfully slept through the night, because when we left, they
I was
made it back to
watchful eye.
they made it back into the jungle, and you have successfully slept through the night. And since none of you took any damage or did any fights or anything like that, you no net gain, no net loss, except you got a good night's sleep. Morning has come. The sun is rising. Although it's a little different here, as you remember from before. When you were in the desert, you were right out there in the open. But back in the jungle, there's a thick canopy now above you, so the light kind of streaks in through the openings in the leaves. And ever so often, a bit of sunlight will kind of catch you in the eye, in the face. Please nobody clip that. But now you're waking up in the morning.
Nobody clip what?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Don't
what
worry
was
about it. No, nothing. Nothing. It's nothing.
I'm gonna eat some
I
snake.
was waking up. I was scratching my eyes. Is that what we were clipping?
So you're waking up?
Yeah,
No, I just scratched my eyes.
I'm eating some snake.
Wake up, get ready. Bug repellent.
I'm assuming I'm gonna wake up, forget I'm in a tree, and fall out of it.
Okay. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, I hope I land this. Something cool. 21.
Okay. You actually managed, like a cat, to flip around and do almost a superhero landing, like a 3-point landing, down right in front of Sigor.
Oh.
Like right in his face.
I'm gonna slowly look up at him. Like, did you see that?
But in the background, you take 1 point of bludgeoning damage from the distance you fell. So your knee, it hurts. Your knee hurts, but you don't want to let him know.
Are you all right?
Yeah, so cool, right?
Yeah, if you can. I didn't know you could jump that high. That'll come in handy later.
Oh. Yeah, I jumped.
Right. I go back to packing up my tent.
I'm gonna try to stand up, but fall, and hope no one saw it.
Yeah. So you do manage to stand up, no problem. I just wanted to make sure our audio was good. So you do manage to stand up without really giving off any semblance that it hurt, but you kind of give that you know, the basketball player style, like, yep, I'm good, and you just kind of walk off. All right, Mr. Leader.
I'm putting on bug repellent and eating a snake ration.
Okay.
Once we're all packed up, I'll continue us down the trek, but I'll take a moment to remind everybody that where we're heading is Four-Armed Monkey Man territory. So, everyone be on your guard. If you smell something different than what you smell, something maybe gross, or see leaves or some brush, branches moving, you know.
Does Brad know about these gorilla things being...
Yes, you know what Gorillon I think you said. Gorillon. Yeah, you know what they are.
Okay.
They're large, so they actually are the size of a full-size gorilla, but they have 4 arms instead of 2. They're extremely strong. They can swing through the branches very easily. Very vicious. You, though, have seen something the rest of the party has not. This undead plague that has run around, you have seen undead versions of these things as well.
Oh.
Do with that information what you will. If you want to keep it to yourself, you can. But you have seen both living and undead versions of these creatures.
Okay. So the normal ones are real yummy. The other ones aren't so good.
Yep. What?
Yeah. The 6-footed thing, strong.
6-footed. Are you talking about the gorillons?
Yeah.
The forearms.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all pretty much the same, right?
What do you...
I guess so, yeah.
Why would they not be the same?
They all have 4 arms.
Well, yeah. They're just not as good. The ones that have all the meat on them are like nice and juicy when you cook them up. The other ones that, I mean, it tastes like old meat, probably because it is. But
are you saying that
This is really gross.
are the other ones decrepit?
well, you got the normal ones and the undead ones.
There's undead ones.
Well, there's about undead everything. I mean, I didn't think that would have been any kind of news to anyone.
You
That
are
sounds
correct.
terrible.
That should not have been news to anyone. I am going to use a level 1 spell slot and use an action to cast Primeval Awareness. I'm going to bend down, I'm going to put my hand on some land, and within a 6-mile radius, I'm going to feel out for some undead.
Okay. You do not detect any undead in the general vicinity.
6 miles, right?
So within 6 miles, no.
Okay. Well, fortunately, Brad, maybe the tasteless ones we won't have a run-in with.
That sounds great.
But they're really good. You guys should try them if you haven't had them.
No, but
mean,
we
if you're-
appreciate the insight.
And if you're in a pinch, I mean, the undead ones are pretty good too.
That sounds terrible.
That does sound terrible. And with that, let's press on.
Sylvanian 7 out. Or SC7, S7, whatever it was.
So 7, yeah, 7. Courtesy of Luna.
I hope everyone likes it. It was just an idea.
It'll work.
Okay. So we're heading out? Okay. Which direction are we heading?
We're continuing our northeast trek towards said airship crashing on map.
Okay. So you continue for about... So when you woke up, it was about 7 a.m. Takes about... You travel for about 6 hours. So it's about 1 p.m. The sun hangs kind of in the middle of the sky. You notice that as you... after this time has elapsed, the further you travel in this direction, you almost notice like it becomes a little more comfortable, like the temperature becomes a little more comfortable. Not quite as hot, not quite as humid. It's almost more uncomfortable to you the less humid it gets, Brad, since you're just so used to it. But it's not necessarily something you notice at the front of your mind, but as you walk, you're just kind of less sweaty, less gross, I guess you could say.
That sounds like a plus to me. My attitude slightly improves.
Yeah,
So we continue.
not a bad deal. And so, as you're making your way through the jungle, and the further you go into the jungle, the more uneven the terrain kind of becomes. You're in these, traversing over large roots, and just, general jungle. I don't even know what the word is, really. I'm not a wordsmith, people. You notice it become cooler and cooler. Since you're leading the way, kind of taking the job of both you and Dragonbait, hacking your way through these jungle reeds, you come across something you never thought you would see in this jungle.
What do I see? What do we find?
The first thing you notice is that it gets very, very, very cold.
Now I'm concerned. I've gone from comfortable to very concerned.
You realize that the temperature is, the further you go, is dropping rapidly. And it's still kind of the middle of the day. And it's been very humid and hot up to this point. And the rest of you are noticing this now too. Brad, you were getting pretty cold.
Oh, I'm mad.
This can't be natural.
So the temperature begins to drop measurably. Until you, since you're leading the way again, start to see what appears to be frost growing on the ferns and on the trees themselves around you, as though you're entering some sort of winterscape.
Luna, you're familiar with the arcane arts. Is this something you type are capable of?
I know it's not something I'm capable of.
Well, can you find out if this is magical means? Do you have a way to do that? I'm sorry, I don't know. You do the spells, and I do them too, but they're more nature. You're more arcane. You know what I mean?
You mean I can see if I might know? What do I need to do?
Make an Arcana check.
Hmm. 21.
Nice.
Very good. Hold on. I think there might be something up with the stream here.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Let me just check it. If there's not something up with the stream, pardon me, folks. Test. We're good. I just wanted to make sure.
I like this winter music.
Okay. Apologies there for breaking immersion. What did you roll for your Arcana?
21.
Very good. This winterscape definitely does not feel normal, especially since you've been through this entire jungle. You've been from all the way to the north, all the way to the south through the wastes, into caves and dungeons and forges, and not once has it been under 80 degrees. So your only conclusion, although you can't pinpoint exactly what kind of magic this may be, or maybe this could be anomaly. It's hard to say that this is magic, but you certainly can't pinpoint a magical position. But this is definitely out of the ordinary.
I mean, this definitely isn't normal, but like, I can't like directly say like, that's it, that's the magical, like, but
hearing, or go ahead.
Normal. Yeah.
Hearing that, I want to walk over to like a tree and kind of look at the frost. Does it look like something that it was like put on, if you will? Like the frost, like it just showed up? Or are we like in like a pine tree winter area somehow?
Right.
Like
No,
it's not like we're not pine trees. Like these are tropical
these are
trees.
tropical trees covered in frost.
Is there a way that I can look to see if like plants are dying from this? Or is this something that just seems to have happened recently? Like,
So looking around, your visibility is somewhat limited because of the density of the jungle around you. Stagger is still kind of, at this point, kind of halfway kind of hacking through as you're kind of charting this path toward this airship. But you start to see more and more of these frost-lined tropical plants. And Stagger, you're so distracted kind of by chopping and moving. You, Lucan, are the first one to kind of realize that your footsteps, they start to crunch underfoot just from the ground becoming frozen solid. The trees around you, the further you've gone, they've actually turned white. And you can see now that there's icicles actually dripping from almost everything.
Do I think this could be the Cult of Frost?
The Cult of Frost.
Yes.
buzzword.
Remind me about the Cult of Frost.
Well, I'm glad you asked. For my notes. The Esho tribe who tried to attack Mesro. He was exiled to the jungle with a blue triangle mark. After he was exiled, he still had his powers, continued to raise undead. He waited for Mesro to come under attack again, so he
Are you talking about
his
Raznisi?
army could rescue them. The Cult of Frost
Oh, yes,
attacked Mesro and Raznisi.
right. You're not sure.
Do you guys remember what we heard about the Cult of Frost? I wonder if this has anything to do with that. Let me
That sounds like a name I'd put to this weird type of activity.
pull back out my really big book and I'm looking at like what are the trigger words?
That doesn't sound far from what's going on.
The easiest way to find out, I guess, is to proceed to the heart of it, though. I'll actually, Brad, since you fight with a sword, do you mind taking the lead and just cutting through these frozen bushes and whatnot, leading the way? And I'll be right behind you, and I'll take my bow out and have an arrow notched.
Okay.
Sure.
I think we need to be on guard at this
I'm not
point.
going to use Dragon Slayer, though. I'm going to use my shiny scimitar.
That's fine. Anything that cuts.
Right.
Okay, so Brad starts taking the lead on that. You find yourself kind of having to duck a little lower to go under the limbs and the trees, but it's not so much. It's not cumbersome. After about another 60 feet or so, both of you believe. Well, you don't really know. You can't really attribute a number to this, but Stagger, you've got to have an idea that it's getting close to 0, -10, -20 degrees.
I stop proceeding, and I grab Brad by his shoulder and stop him.
Shaking.
Both of you are extremely cold. However, none of you have any negative effect. You're just fucking cold.
It's that cold and we're not suffering any issues from it?
Right.
Except we're just cold.
You're
as
just
fuck?
cold as shit.
I'll after stopping him, I'll put my bow up and I will take out 2 torches and light both of them, and lean close and say, "Go slowly." And as I keep the torches between us like this.
Okay. Both of you make a perception check.
16.
2. 16 to this.
It's very in character.
Yes, that's accurate. That's accurate. Brad, you're still just cutting through. Stagger, you notice as you're making your way through this frozen jungle, that there are some bits of ice kind of falling from the trees above, and it sort of draws your eyes upwards. And up in the foliage, actually a pretty decent amount of ways up in the foliage there, you can see what appears to be the aft section or the back section of a ship that is encased in ice, and it is lodged into the trees like it fell into them. And as you look up even further, there's more of the ship. It appears there are 3 sections of the ship that have kind of broken apart from each other. This thing broke into 3 pieces, and you can see the aft, middle, and the fore section. The aft section that you spotted first is about 50 feet overhead, and then each section seems to get higher, almost like it took a landing, like a diagonal landing, right?
Right.
All 3 sections, though, are completely encased in ice, essentially, and all of the foliage around it is completely frozen.
I'll kind of knock Brad on the back right shoulder like 3 times, like. Do you stop and look back at me?
Yeah. Well.
Okay. I'll put both torches in my left hand, and I'll just say, "Look!"
At that point, you see everything that I just
I
described.
see the broken dream.
Yeah. The broken dream.
And actually, you just feel good right now because you got your prestidigitation just constantly warm or whatever. Is that what you're going on?
So I
why you
can
been so
warm up
quiet?
1 cubic foot of non-living thing. So I'm warming up my
Cloak.
garments, and I can have 3 going at a time. So it's like one.
Get heat.
Like, I'm not terrible right now, but I'm also not great.
It looks like it's enclosed in ice.
Yeah. And in 3 sections.
Can we climb in this condition? Are we still 100%? Can we still do everything we need to do?
Yeah. Yeah, you're suffering no negative effects. It's just cold as shit.
I'm gonna snuff my torches and put them away. I'm not sure why, but we're not dead right now.
That
It
is
for sure non-human living temperatures right now.
And I look at myself like, yeah, I think so. I can't disagree.
I think we need to climb.
Sure.
Yeah.
Does it look like we'd be able to climb some trees and shit and get up in that?
Yeah.
Maybe
Carefully, but yes.
Yes.
Does anyone else have any rope?
I'm gonna use.
I've got rope.
Actually, yeah. What would we use rope for? What's the plan?
Well, I mean, I can go up 20 feet and just like tie it somewhere to make it easier for y'all if you want.
How high up is it?
It's about 50 feet overhead.
So just like.
Now, that being said, with your levitation, now, I don't want to interject myself into your character here, but with your levitation, you can levitate on your own up to a certain height.
And then levitate again.
But well, no, you can't levitate again, but it kind of makes you lighter, so if you were to levitate up to a certain height, grab onto something, and kind of pull your way up, it wouldn't be as difficult as pulling your full body weight.
It's like low gravity, just constantly just.
Nice.
Yeah, so I can just like, you said it was 50 feet?
Mm-hmm.
We can
Yeah,
use-
so it's basically the. Let me make sure I get my measurements right here. So the back of the ship, the aft of the ship, is 50 feet up in these lodged in these trees, and then the middle section is a little higher, and then the front or the stern is a little higher. It's hard to tell exactly how high from here, from the ground, but it is. That's what it is.
I'm gonna just take out my rope, bend my knees, jump up and levitate as high as I can.
Okay.
And then from here, where am I now?
How high can you levitate?
20 feet.
Yep. So, since this thing is essentially resting in the canopy of these trees, you can pretty much grab onto any kind of area of the tree and pretty much pull yourself up. As you have kind of gotten closer, I'm assuming the rest of you kind of moved in as well.
Watching the show.
Yeah. So, Sigor, as Luna is somewhat climbing this tree to get up to the back section of the ship, you also see that the ship had some sort of balloon thing, like that was probably the device it uses to kind of fly, essentially, right? And it is kind of draped and wrapped and torn kind of around these trees. In some areas, it almost seems like it's kind of wrapped around and maybe suspending, parts of this ship itself up in these trees because it's just so tangled. But it's almost like it was some sort of blimp galleon. Like it's pretty big. I believe that the entire length of the ship was probably close to 70, 80 feet in length. It's massive. As you gaze up and study it more carefully, the aft part of the ship is angled down. So the back part of the ship is a little bit angled more down towards you. So you can see through the ice and the foliage part of the name of the ship. But the only letters that you can really make out are A, R, and then there's kind of a space, and then a G and an O. And that's kind of all you can really make sense of, or all you can see right now. So it was certainly a ship with a name.
I'll point that out to the others.
You don't notice it. You don't know how to spell, but
So it's A-R. So it's A-R space
Wait, Brad or Anthony?
G-O.
pass.
So you said it was 5 letters, A-R blank G-O.
Yeah, so it's like in theory. So basically, there's these frozen like foliage that's kind of hanging down. You can see an A and an R, and then kind of like a blank space, and then the first letters of the next thing are G-O.
Do I see a letter on the ground?
No,
I look for it.
no. There's nothing on the ground except for ice.
Huh.
And frost.
Ergo, Arbgo, Arcgo, Ardgo, Ergo,
I don't think it has any
Arf,
relevance to us at the
Arfgo.
moment.
Argo,
At least not to mine,
Continuing
Brian.
higher.
Argo,
What's that?
Arigo,
I'm continuing higher.
Okay, yeah.
Archigo.
So you climb up, and you make it up about 40 feet. So there's still about another 10 feet. The area that they're all kind of looking at, the name of the back of the ship is kind of covered up, but it's about 5 feet above you, and then the deck seems to be about 10 feet higher. Still climbing. Okay. You make it to the top of the deck, and you notice a couple things right away. The ice covers the entirety of the top deck, and all of the rigging as well. So all of the ropes, the sail, what's left of the sails, anything like that is completely encased in ice. There's no indication, though, that anything is melting or even in danger of melting at any time soon. It doesn't look like the jungle heat has any effect here. You also see what appears to be a person just frozen solid on the deck.
Oh, shit.
And he's kind of tangled up in the rigging a little bit. And he's hanging upside down and just kind of swinging slightly. But completely frozen solid.
Cast.
And you, the only other thing that you can tell is that he kind of has a robe on, almost dressed like a wizard.
Does he look like he's like definitely dead, or is he like, this is a cryo chamber and he might be alive?
Hard to say. He's just frozen solid.
Okay. I cast Firebolt on. Is there like an opening somewhere where like, oh, there might be a door?
Like on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you're on the top deck of the back part of the ship, then there's a huge break, and then there's a big middle part of the ship higher up, and then another break, and the front part of the ship higher up even than that. So there aren't even really any doors or anything. The main thing you see now is standing on the back part of the ship, the top of the back part of the ship, with that frozen caster
somewhere I can
wizard.
see if so I can tie the rope is what I'm looking for.
I mean, there's plenty of places you could tie a rope on a ship. I mean, everything's encased in ice, but
That's what I'm asking.
you could tie something anywhere.
I try and cast Firebolt on whatever I can see to tie the rope to.
Yeah, so the back of the ship, there's kind of a decorative railing, I guess you could say. I'm assuming you're not casting a firebolt with full force?
I'm just trying to melt the ice.
Okay, so you do manage to melt the ice, kind of tie off the rope, and
Let it go.
so the three of you down at the bottom, and you see a rope. Not frozen, just...
Excellent.
Well, I guess that's our call.
Indeed.
Maybe one at a time.
I'll grab hold of the rope and start shimmying up.
Okay. Takes about 3 minutes. But you may make your way up. And once you kind of hit the deck, everything is still frozen, and you're kind of... It's almost like standing on an ice rink without any ice skates.
Very slippery.
I
Very
see
slippery.
Stagger. Can I try and melt the ice that's up here?
Sure.
Please don't fall to your death.
Yeah.
I do that.
You do that, and the ice melts, and you find your footing underneath. And then shortly after, the ice just
What?
recovers the area, and then
be careful.
it actually starts to cover your rope and starts to make its way down.
No. Can I try and melt it again before it gets
Sure.
to my rope?
Yeah, so you go and grab onto the rope, and basically as you're holding onto this rope, the ice, well, it hadn't fully formed into ice yet, but it just kind of turns into water. It starts to drip its way down.
Okay.
Am I on this rope?
Quickly!
No, you're up on the deck.
Oh, okay, cool.
These two are still on the ground.
I'll start climbing up.
Okay.
Here we go.
Doesn't take much time for you to climb up. You're pretty experienced with this. Brad actually gets up there very quickly, but once you get up there, the floor is very icy, and you find it very difficult to.
I'm just gonna hold on to Sagor.
All right. Well, I will go up the rope carefully.
Okay, it takes you a little longer since you're a big guy.
Got it.
But you do manage to make it up to that top area. Now, all of you see this kind of swinging, frozen man that's just kind of trapped. And I say swinging, just more swaying in the wind, but robe, kind of a, I'm not going to say a pointy witch's hat or anything like that, but a nice hat. But kind of hanging upside down, just sort of swaying in the wind, but completely frozen in a brick of ice, or in his form is surrounded by ice.
Can we see a facial expression?
Yes, it looks terrified.
Should you what?
Unfreeze him? Maybe he's alive in there, but his spell.
Do you have that type of power?
I mean, I can just firebolt,
Carefully.
and melt, right?
I'm gonna kind of shuffle my feet towards it. Let's take a closer look at him. And yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I just want to get closer first. As I get right up to him, I want to put my hand on I don't know, the side facial feature and just look around. It looks fully like a person. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you put your hand, and it is definitely, there's no illusions here. It's cold to the touch. It's ice, and when you press your hand against it, it stops swaying, obviously, and then it kind of sways a little bit away. But then when it comes back, it stops at your hand. The face does look as though it is fear.
I guess give it a shot, Luna. Maybe this guy will have some answers for us.
Right. Carefully.
I
Okay. So you kind of go up and
murder him.
you're not trying to blow his face off?
No.
All right, so you walk up and you kind of move Sigor's hand out of the way and place your hand kind of on his neck area, shoulder, neck area. And the ice slowly begins to melt to water. And as it does, no life seems to come into this man's being. It seems, from where you're looking at, that this, and he is a human now that you can tell for sure. Basically from his chest up has now melted, and his arms are just essentially hanging straight down. That this person, shipmate, wizard, whatever he was clearly killed by ice and snow.
I check his pockets.
Nothing, nothing there.
Does his hat look nicer than mine?
Not anymore.
Does he have any cool parchment on him? Anything of interest to me?
Mm-mm. So now you're basically on the back end of this ship, and there's quite a few feet, probably about 20 to 30 feet from the back of the ship to where it's broken off to where the next section is. And that next section, if you look forward, I believe is, yes, about 15 feet higher in the trees, but it's completely severed off from the rest of the ship.
Is there any entryway on this deck down and anything on the backside?
No, it doesn't seem like there is.
Okay.
Before I move on, I want to get my rope, gather it back up before it freezes over and ruins itself.
Okay.
Keep it.
Ooh, cool.
Okay. So looking up, now heading towards the end of this aft section and more towards the midsection, you're very close now to where this area broke off from the midsection of the ship. And you can see about 15 feet above you. So kind of 15 feet above is where the bottom of the midsection is. And then there's about 30 feet above that is where the deck of that midsection is.
Oh, wow.
And the mast in the midsection is kind of thrusting up kind of at a weird angle a little bit. But you can see from where you are into the lower decks of this midsection. And you can see a bunch of frozen crates that are kind of encased in nets and everything. From certain areas of where you're standing, not so much you since you're a little shorter, but Lucan, mainly you, can see that there are other corpses inside the broken off section of this midsection of the ship. It looks like the crew just perished because of the ice. They're all frozen solid, almost in mid form, right? In mid reaction.
What the hell were these people transporting?
And what happened to them?
I'm gonna blink and have my eyes glow the bright turquoise, smoky color as I detect magic, just kind of scanning the area,
Okay.
looking for any weird glows.
So detect magic. Explain to me what that
Detect
the
magic.
specifics of that is again.
Allows me to detect any magical stuff around me within, I think it's 30 feet, glows, and I can immediately tell it's school of magic. Takes concentration and it lasts for 10 minutes.
So you can't detect anything directly magical within 30 feet of you,
Okay.
but you do get a sense that something magical is in this general vicinity. You just can't pinpoint it.
Other than me.
How big of a hop is it to to jump inside that deck area?
About 15 feet.
It's a long hop on ice.
Is there anything that, like, we could climb up?
So there are various pieces of that balloon that's kind of wrapped around the trees that you could kind of try and attempt to, and again, everything's icy, but anything's possible. Now, I say that it's 15 feet higher. It's not necessarily 15 feet out.
Lucan, come here.
What's up?
Sigor,
Brad, what's
stand
going
over
through
here.
your mind right now?
I'm like
What's up?
What's going
climbing.
through your mind right
I'm
now?
helping you, and
freezing.
I'm trying to climb on top of
I'm trying to
Sigor, on
understand
top of
why my
Lucan.
feet like
I'm
won't
sorry?
stay
Lucan,
still.
I'm climbing on your shoulders.
But I'm also like
Oh.
holding onto Sigor's hips, trying to like keep myself up.
So
and
our
I'm
hands on
holding
there.
Sigor as well, and I'm climbing on top of
Wait, what
on
is
top of
happening?
Lucan's. I'm climbing on your shoulders so I can stand
Why are
up
you
and
holding
jump,
Sigor?
So I can.
so I don't fall.
Yeah.
That
Same.
doesn't make any sense. Why don't you just float up from this deck?
Are you asking her that while she's halfway, like grabbing on your face and climbing
Right.
up right now?
I'm doing this live.
Alright,
doing.
why don't you just float up and you'll be there?
That's what the plan is. But
Do you
I'm
need some
already,
help? And I like grab her and just kind of
And I try and grab whatever I
Just
can.
a toss.
To
just
get
a toss,
15
just
more
like a
feet.
toss up.
So you're trying to go 15 feet up to the essentially the underbelly of the midsection.
Yes.
Okay. Make what kind of check would this be? I would like for you to make a dexterity check. I'm not gonna say disadvantage, but dexterity check.
Is it just plus that, Jamie? 12.
Okay. So you reach up, grab onto it for a second, and then sliding. No. And you start to fall back.
I'll try and grab her again.
Lucan catches you.
Here, we'll do this time differently.
Now, as you are going to throw him again, I need everybody, or throw her again. Everybody make a perception check.
24.
13.
Less.
17.
Less than that. 16.
What was theirs? What was yours? 13?
16.
16?
17.
20 something.
Cigarette. Okay.
24.
So everybody except for Luna. And the only reason you probably don't notice this is because you just pretty much grabbed it and fell back. The rest of you, however, notice something. You hear what sounds like something hitting the deck of the top deck of the midsection of this ship. Above us, a little higher up than you. It sounds like something just landed on the deck with a loud crunch.
I will
And you
halt my throw.
kind of hear this. So you hear the impact. You can kind of see the midsection sway a little bit, and afterwards you hear like a slight crunch. When you turn and look up at the top deck above you, coming up over the edge of that deck and glaring down at you, you see a large saber-toothed tiger
Huh.
made entirely of ice.
What the fuck?
And you hear it.
Is
How
it?
far above us?
Yeah, it's like leaning in, right?
It's about 30 feet up, and it is looking straight down at you.
Fireball!
Oh man.
And that's where we're gonna end tonight's session.
Oh.
Ice tiger. What the fuck? That's got to be like a ship guardian,
Man.
which means there's two of them, because there's always two of those things.
Ship is in ruins.
I don't
That's
know.
the worst.
I don't know what it is. Could be anything.
Why does the ship gotta be broken?
Why is the ship? Why is the ship gotta be
Mega
broken?
broken. Like not just a little broken. Mega.
All the broken.
Yeah, it is the ship of broken dreams.
Dude, I think that there might be like they were transporting some magic ice thing and they fucked
blew
up
up.
when it crashed or something, and yeah, that's when it like just loosened itself. It could be like a little crystal ball, and it's just outputting a massive blizzard or something.
Yeah.
I'm excited to find out.
Hey, and guess what? We'll find out next Saturday.
That's right, we'll find out next.
At 8 p.m. Pacific.
No, Central!
Central. Sorry. It's Central. Man, I even set up my nice DSLR camera for a battle map and everything.
We didn't make it that far.
I didn't make that far.
We had conversations.
But hey, you gotta have story development, you
right.
know? Can't always be combat and craziness.
Shenanigans.
And shenanigans. Well, it can always be shenanigans. It's basically all we
You
do.
got a goblin with you.
We do have a goblin with
We have
us.
a goblin with us.
Our goblin was surprisingly kept to himself tonight.
He did. Eat
He
dead
was
lizards
taken
and
back.
chilling.
What's that?
He was taken back by the temperature change and the white dwarves, the really white dwarves.
Brad actually slows down in cold temperatures in every way. Cold just makes everything slower.
That's true. So yeah, we appreciate everybody who came to join us tonight. As always, we appreciate the support. We will be. Are you streaming anything tomorrow, Super? I think tomorrow's our off day. Yeah.
It normally is, but I might do something.
We might do something tomorrow.
Might do something.
Who knows? I've got to work on some D&D tomorrow, so if Segura's streaming something, I may be able to join him, maybe not. We'll kind of play it by ear. Either way, on Monday, we will certainly be streaming for sure. In the meantime, we appreciate, again, you joining us. If you enjoyed what you saw tonight, please consider giving us a follow. Beyond that, if you really enjoyed us, you can support the channel now by giving us a subscription. Twitch Prime, it's free.
We can get those now.
We can get those now. We hit that milestone, and I'm very happy about it. So, please join us next Saturday. We will be here, continuing right here where we left off. So thank you again, and we will see you all next time. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.